Sometimes something happens, and at first you don't even understand what's going on. Suddenly, you see people slowly disappearing from your life, one by one. Not with fights, not with a clear ending, just quietly, silently. Have you ever found yourself in that kind of silence and asked yourself, what am I losing right now? Maybe the real question you should be asking is, what is being taken away that needs to be taken away? Because the answer is rarely what you first think it is. Sometimes God removes people from your path, and the most painful part is that at first, you think you're losing something valuable, when in reality, you're being pulled out of a toxic cycle. Imagine one night, a message that never comes, a relationship that doesn't feel warm anymore, and a silence you can't find any explanation for.
That's when the question starts. Why don't I chase people like I used to anymore? It's not that you've become hopeless. It's not that you no longer care. Something deep inside you has changed, but you still can't name it. You no longer fight for attention. You no longer lose yourself in relationships. You no longer stay just because you're scared someone might leave. But here's the strange part. The moment you let go, a kind of exhaustion washes over you that you've never felt before. Not sadness, not anger, just a deep, quiet, I don't want this anymore. Have you ever asked yourself, why don't I try as hard as I used to keep someone? Maybe because somewhere deep down, you finally understood. Love isn't meant to be proven by fighting for it.
And that's exactly where everything starts to change. There were relationships that made your heart race faster, but afterwards, a silence remained that felt heavier than the excitement itself. Have you ever experienced this feeling? That moment when you thought, this is the one, but sometime later you realized it wasn't really love. It was a dependency that had beautifully disguised itself as love. And this is where the questions change. You no longer ask, does he love me or not? You ask, am I still myself when I'm with them, or am I slowly losing myself? Because some relationships look beautiful in the beginning, but little by little, they quietly empty you of who you are. And maybe that's why some people leaving doesn't feel painful. They're actually a rescue, a salvation.
Take a moment and think. How long did it take you to realize that what you called love was perhaps just the fear of being alone? And now comes a big shift. Excitement is no longer enough for you. Peace has become more important, even though you once believed love should be full of ups and downs. But now one question stands out in your mind. What if real love is actually this peace? You still don't have the full answer, but your behavior is no longer the same. You are no longer the person you used to be. Some people can excite you, but the same people might slowly take away your peace. Some relationships speak beautifully, but when you stay, you realize there's a heavy silence behind their words. And that's when you learn to ask the right questions. Do I feel safe with them? Or am I just trying to control myself? Will they stay when things get hard, or will they disappear? Because at some point you understand. Dependency says, I'm not complete without you. But healthy love says, I choose you without losing myself. And this small difference changes your entire life. Maybe some relationships were never meant to last from the beginning. Not because they were bad, but because they weren't made for you. And now the most important part. Your peace has become more important than excitement. Those dramatic up and down relationships are no longer attractive to you, even if you once thought that was what love meant. But now one question remains in your mind. What if real love is what brings you peace, not what shakes you? And maybe you still don't have the answer, but you've changed. And this is where everything comes down to one sentence. Maybe this season of loneliness isn't empty. It's transforming you into the person you once prayed to become. My friend, if these words touched somewhere in your heart, hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because some words aren't just heard, they are felt.